Well, I think I can speak for all professional wrestling fans when I say these last couple weeks we have certainly been spoiled with the amount of quality content in regards to PLE/slash pay-per-view events. What is going on, pro wrestling fans? My name is Jose Ramos Jr., and in today's video we will be predicting every match currently scheduled for AEW All Out 2024. This will be the 6th All Out event in AEW's young history, and to begin this prediction, let's start with the AEW International Championship as Will Ospreay defends his title against Pac. This is a matchup that I'm really looking forward to. It's one of the selling points of the pay-per-view itself, as we have two of the ultra-athletic athletes that All Elite Wrestling has to offer. I look at the presentation of Pac and how they've become almost as a tweener. There's been senses where he's a heel and where he's a babyface. Now that he's currently the Trios champion alongside Wheeler Yuta and Claudio, I do think that he presents as a formidable foe for Will Ospreay, but I don't see him losing the title, especially after winning it only 2 weeks prior against MJF. I think this is going to be one of those matches that has potential to steal the show, but I'm going to rock with Will Ospreay here to successfully defend and retain his international championship. Next, we have a story that has been told over the past few months. It is now a Chicago street fight. Former friends turn to bitter rivals, Kris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale. Again, another one of those matches that is a selling point for this pay-per-view event. Willow and Kris Statlander, known for their brutal matches, set to have another in a street fight in Chicago. I like the fact that we were able to connect All In to All Out. As you know, it was a mixed tag team matchup that saw Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii winning, thus giving her the opportunity to name the match stipulation for this event. When I do these prediction videos, I try to do it from a sense of logic, and being that Willow Nightingale had gained the victory at All In, I don't think we're going to see back-to-back victories for the babyface in this scenario. I do think that Kris Statlander emerges victorious. She defeats Willow in her own matchup in Chicago. I'm going to go ahead with Kris Statlander for this matchup. Our third matchup here on the card is MJF versus Daniel Garcia, a matchup that really was in the build for All In. It led to the eventual matchup between Will Ospreay and MJF. But being what we saw on this past week's episode of Dynamite, it became real personal between the two, as if it wasn't already personal to begin with. I do think that MJF's attack over Danny Garcia really lends itself as an opportunity to put over the young Garcia. Reports have said that he has recently re-signed with the company, having an extension. I don't know if that's true or not. These are only the reports. But that would lead me to believe that we are going to put over Danny Garcia in some fashion. MJF is the kind of star that doesn't necessarily need to win all the time. I don't think it affects his status within the company, nor of his rankings within the division. I'm going to go with Garcia to win this matchup and hopefully begin a push for Danny Garcia. Mercedes Mone defends her AEW TBS Championship against Hikaru Shida in another matchup that I think will be better than the All In pay-per-view itself. I thought her matchup with Britt Baker left a lot to be desired, and apparently that's been the common consensus around wrestling fandom. I do think this match will probably be better, not only in the sense of in-ring work, but in the long term. We know that Camille will be banned from ringside, allowing a one-on-one contest between the two. I'm thinking they're going to give these two women probably 20 minutes in the ring. Knowing the caliber of talent that these two have, I expect nothing short of a great matchup. But again, being that Mercedes Mone has been champion for a short period of time, I don't see them dropping the title here, especially to Shida. No disrespect to her, but I'm going to pick Mercedes Mone to continue that title reign. What I find interesting about this next matchup is that we don't really have all the combatants involved confirmed yet. We know it'll be a four-way matchup for the AEW Continental Championship, as Kazuchika Okada will be defending against three other opponents. We know that on Collision there will be 3 qualifying matches that will take place. I'm going to go ahead and give you my predictions as to who will be participating in the matchup. I think Orange Cassidy is going to be one. I think Lance Archer will be the other. And I think the final one will be Takeshita. We saw him referenced on Dynamite this week in this type of a matchup. I know it's probably going to be a lot of high spots, a lot of high energy offense. I think it's going to be one of those matches that we're going to put on the card as a way to entertain the fans. I don't think Okada loses this title. The only argument you could make in this matchup is Takeshita, especially the way he was presented on this segment during Dynamite. But I think it's a safe bet to just go ahead and say Okada defends and retains his championship successfully. And sticking with the Elite, the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, will be defending their tag team titles against the Blackpool Combat Club's Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli. Those two are already the Trios champion, which lends me to believe why I don't think they're going to win this matchup. The Young Bucks have been champions since AEW Dynasty back in April when they won the vacant titles. I don't see them losing this title. I had put my money on them losing the titles at AEW All In a couple of weeks ago, but that didn't happen. I don't think we're going to give the titles to the Blackpool Combat Club, as they're already holders of the Trios champions, as I mentioned previously. So I think it's, again, a very safe bet that another member of the Elite will emerge victorious, successfully defending their champions, and that would be the Young Bucks. Finally, we have the last championship matchup on the card. It's going to be the AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson defending his title against the scapegoat Jack Perry, who also happens to be the TNT champion. A lot of representation here when it comes to the Elite in championship matches. I'm hoping this is going to be a really good match. I've seen a lot of criticism directed towards Jack Perry and why he's included in this matchup against Bryan Danielson. I'm of the mindset where I'm open to it. Why not? Why not give the kid an opportunity with one of the greatest wrestlers of all time? With that being said, this outcome really shouldn't be much of a surprise. Bryan Danielson literally just won the championship at All In. We know, at least it's been hinted, that whatever matchup he loses this title in will be the last match that Bryan Danielson will have as an in-ring competitor. I don't think it's going to be against the likes of a Jack Perry. No disrespect. I think Bryan Danielson retains this championship, and like I said in previous videos, I think this leads to Wrestle Dream, which will emanate from his home state of Washington, and that is where we're going to see Bryan Danielson retire. And lastly, we have what probably will be the main event, an unsanctioned steel cage match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. This is the match that if you're thinking about buying this pay-per-view, this is the match that probably will be the selling point. It has been a blood feud taking place over the last year, as we've seen these two do battle throughout the course of the last 12 months. We've seen it in a Texas death match. We've seen it at a triple threat match. We're now going to see it in a steel cage match. I think this is going to be match of the night. I think it's going to be brutal. I think it's going to be bloody just because of the story that they've been telling. You look at Dynamite this past week, and Hangman Adam Page went so far as to light the childhood home of Swerve Strickland on fire. I wouldn't say little, but big things like that are why I enjoy professional wrestling. It's outlandish, it's crazy, it's theatrics, and it really lends itself to the personal feud that they've been telling in regards to these two competitors. Being that it's going to be an unsanctioned matchup, apparently the winner of this matchup will not be recorded in the record books. I think that's an important detail to remember when picking the winner of this matchup. I think Swerve Strickland's going to win this matchup, not only because they burnt his house down. You're not going to have someone lose their home and then lose the matchup. I think it makes the most sense to have him go over. But then with the deranged mentality that Hangman Adam Page has been experiencing over the course of this year, he's going to make the argument that it doesn't count. It wasn't in the record books. You never beat me. And that will continue this feud into some other matchup. I don't know what matchup it would be at this point. Maybe another Texas death match. I'm not sure. But I think that this feud is far from over, as we will expect another matchup in the near future. And that's my predictions for AEW All Out 2024. Please make sure to comment down below your favorite matchup, as well as what are some predictions you have for the event itself. If you enjoyed this predictions video, please give the video a like, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content such as this. And while you're here, check out some of these videos that I've already uploaded in the past. Of course, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you all in the next one.